But the big picture here is thought, right? That's the big picture. That's what we need to be paying attention to. Why does thought have so much power? What is it? Where is it? Why is it? Perfection is a disguise for insecurity. I focus more on the marathon than trying to have it all perfect. I'm putting this out because I'm passionate about putting this out. Hey, think about the world through the eyes of a man like Andrew Carnegie for a second, right? Think about being a billionaire, one of the most powerful people alive on the planet during his particular time when he was alive. What would inspire you to actually pay for somebody to travel the world to talk to other rich people, other successful people? What is that? What kind of curiosity is inside of a person who wants to pay somebody else to do that? I mean, shit, if I'm rich and I got money and I got time, I'm damn near willing to do it myself. I love to go travel, but nonetheless, Andrew Carnegie paid somebody to travel the world for him to speak to the top 500 successful people alive on the planet at that time, right? And it didn't take a year. It didn't take 3 years. It didn't take 5 years. It didn't take 10 years. It took 20 years for this journey to complete. And he paid for this man to gather all of this knowledge and bring it back to him. Now, for a man to even think that far ahead, because he already knew that the journey would take about that much time, for somebody to be thinking that far ahead, what the fuck is happening up here? Like, what type of moving parts are working in this man's mind for him to think like that? That's chess. That's chess when you're thinking decades ahead of yourself, right? You don't even know if you're going to be here. But to plan for that type of long-term leverage is powerful. It's godlike. You know what I mean? And we all have the ability to do that. That's what makes us powerful as human beings. The fact that we can have foresight. That's what it is. It's foresight. And we can see ahead before we actually get there in real time. So I think Mark Cuban, another billionaire, talked about being able to see around corners, right? So Andrew Carnegie paid for this man to travel the world for 20 years and gather the perspective of the most successful people, 500 of the most successful people alive. And what he wanted to know is things that they disagreed on and things that they agreed on. The data was astounding. He found that there were thousands of ideas in these notes that these 500 people disagreed on. But he found that there was one unanimous idea that they did not disagree on at all. And still to this day, if you ask any successful person, they don't disagree on this idea. And that idea is we become what we think about. Now, you have to pause when you say that because that can go over a lot of people's heads and you have to say it again. What they all agree on is that we, us human beings, become the thing that we think about. What does that mean for you? Well, wherever you are in your life, whether you're willing to admit it or not, is because you've thought your way into this circumstance or this predicament. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, you have a job. If you don't have a job, if you got a house, you don't have a house, you thought your way into that predicament. So a lot of us aren't willing to accept the reality that we're responsible for where we are, but there's a lot of power in accepting that reality. The power in accepting that reality is understanding that you can go on to create better circumstances from yourself from this point. So I just thought that was incredible how all of those people can unanimously agree on that idea that we become what we think about. And for those of you that want to know more about this 20-year journey that Andrew Carnegie funded, all of the ideas is put into a book. And that book is called Think and Grow Rich. This book is still responsible for producing the most millionaires in history in any other books, and I often talk about it. But the big picture here is thought, right? That's the big picture. That's what we need to be paying attention to. Why does thought have so much power? What is it? Where is it? Why is it? Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know the answer to that question, but here's a couple of theories, right? So Hindus believe that thought is the original substance of the universe. thought is what the universe was created out of in the first place. Now, we don't give the universe enough credit for having the ability to think, because we just look at it as just objects. Oh, there's a moon, there's a sun, there's a star. Those are just objects, but these are thinking substances, or they come from the thinking substance itself. So we can't see molecular structures with the human eye, but there's things all around us. The fact that you can see my hand through this camera lens is still mind-blowing, giving the billions of particles that's in between my hand and this actual lens on the camera. Like, how can you even see me? But it's so microscopic that it gives you an image, right? So everything that we see is formed by things that we can't even see in the first place. Thought works no different. Thought is something you can't see in the first place, but it has 100% responsibility for everything that we can see. And when we think, we often think in pictures, right? We think in images. So me listening to what Andrew Carnegie and those other 500 successful people believe, that thought has power, me understanding that, I have to be more conscious of what I'm thinking. Now, Eric Thomas talked about having the desire to be more successful than you even want to breathe. He said, you will succeed when you want it as bad as you want to breathe. Napoleon Hill described it as having the burning sensation of the thing that you desire for your life to look like, the way you desire it to look, whether that's an amount of money or a certain type of job, a certain type of body, a certain type of spouse. You have to find the image. What does that image look like in your head? Now, be realistic with yourself. How often are you really holding this image in your mind? Because the way that you super manifest something, the way that you can manifest some shit in no time, it's difficult, but it can be done. And it's going to take an extraordinary effort on your part. You have to use all of your leisure time holding this mental image of this reality that you want to experience for yourself. All of your leisure time. I mean, when you're at the toilet taking a piss, think about that. Think about your vision. Hold it. When you're in the shower, hold that vision. When you're driving your car, hold that vision. That's the key to it. And it's so difficult. It's so much more easier said than done. But it's doable and it's possible. And man has the ability to manipulate his own thoughts. So, with your God-given power to create, what are you going to do with this knowledge? What are you going to do with this information? Sometimes it just got to be beaten to your head more for your brain to start understanding and to make that your default way of living your life. So I'm always thinking about my vision, no matter like what I'm doing. I ain't even gonna go there, but I be doing a lot of, things that you should not be thinking about your vision while you're doing it. All right. So I'm gonna just say that, and wherever your imagination go from there, it goes there. But that's how aggressive you have to be at the most unprecedented times. Let your vision be on your mind. I was just fixing my car battery today. My battery died. While I'm trying to crank the wrench to loosen this bolt, I'm thinking about my vision. It's not a good place to be doing that because I should be more focused, but it is what it is, right? So I just wanted to put this one out, man, just to talk about the power of thought, what I learned from Andrew Carnegie and his will and his desire to teach more people. Fortunately, we got a book out of that, Think and Grow Rich. So pick you up a copy, check it out, check out some ideas with it. Comment below what you think. I'll catch y'all on the next one.